Yes.
Mr. Lewis,
Aye.
Mr. Ziegler.
Aye.
Mr. Nagel,
Aye.
Mr. Fisher.
Aye. Item 3 is a resolution authorizing the payment of claims.
Mr. Ripko,
Aye.
Mr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Ziegler,
Aye.
Mr. Fisher,
Aye.
Mr. Nagel.
Aye.
Reports of town
I
officers.
move these reports be received and put on file.
Second.
Mr. Ripko,
Yes.
Mr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Ziegler.
Aye.
Mr. Nagel,
Aye.
Mr. Fisher.
Aye. Item 5 is correspondence and a motion. Item 6, a motion to receive the correspondence.
I move these be received and put on file.
Second.
Mr. Ripko,
Yes.
Mr. Ziegler.
Aye.
Mr. Nagel,
Aye.
Kevin, are you ready yet or not?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Item 7 is audience participation, which anyone that would like to speak, please come forward, address the board, state your name and address, and it's anything that is not on the agenda. And we got the mayor from Horseheads who's gonna do a presentation on the village overall budget for us tonight. Kevin?
Good evening, everyone. First of all, my appreciation to Amanda for working the tech out here, but we got it all up. I'm coming to you tonight to present, this is my first presentation. We presented last week to the Masons. Fortunately, we had to use this current year's budget, but now that we have a tentative budget approved by the trustees, this is the beginning of a 1-week road show where, please ignore that. That's the wrong stuff. So I will take you through, what we have here. That's, can we go to the next slide? All right, we don't have, the transition, so let's go. Everybody here knows about budgets. You guys are great with it. I don't have to explain that, but on this slide, we're proud to say for the 5th year in a row, making some hard decisions that we'll talk about here later. We will be making a 5th year of a balanced budget. Next slide. This year, we'll have total revenues, if you could. Next, yep. Our total revenues will match at $5,959,550. We're going to be moving slightly. Last year's budget roughly did property taxes at about 48% and sales taxes holding the same. Others, so we're going to be moving towards a more property tax based budget by moving 6% of all revenues will be coming from property tax. We're anticipating sales tax will grow a little bit as this budget actually shrinks. Last year's budget was at 6.1, 6.2. We're contracting the budget by 5%. You'll see the 9% state road funds, the 9% for CHIPS funding, and other fees are our recreation fees and our user fees amongst everything else. I apologize for this. We're using different fonts. We could click. All right, that's not going to look good. So what I am bringing to you here, if you guys can just follow me with this jumbled up pie, I'll walk through it as best as I can from memory. Main points of this budget is that we are going to be, that our police right now is our #1 expenditure at 27%. DPW comes in at 22%. Police is roughly, this budget going to be about 1.3 million. DPW is going to be roughly 1.2. Some of the things that I want to bring to the council's attention, this fire budget is the most this fire budget is the highest fire budget we have in village history. What do I mean by that? We'll go through what we're proposing in this budget, but we're looking at some of these departments that have not been funded to proper standards and reworking that said standard to show where we're going from point A to where we want to be in each of our departments, more of a strategic view we want to bring to the village. Next slide. What do we want to do in this budget? Oh, no, not a problem. Start with the police. We are going to have a new police vehicle. This is going to be on a lease to own payment. Next is we're going to be planning a police locker room. Currently, we have one police locker room. We're going to be doing a planning feasibility to start having a female locker room. This is in the hopes of recruitment and retention. So this is a forward-thinking plan that our chief has put forth. Our big thing with fire, we are in this budget, we are budgeting for 1 10-hour per day, 365 days paid driver from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. As most of you know, almost all of our fire departments have a paid driver except for the village. And thankfully, we will no longer be that exception to the rule. I want to thank our fire department. We were looking at a 24/7 that was not economically feasible. This is definitely something that we're moving into the position of our most needed shift on that. Fire Lexipol software. Right now, we are in our 5th year with police using the Lexipol software. It brings together all of our policies and procedures, has them reviewed by content specialists. Fire will now be using that as well to start bringing more. Ryan, if you want to jump in here, we're gonna, I think, as far as Lexipol goes, just bring up our.
Update our policies and procedures, but as if you guys are aware, the OSHA 1910 156 standards being updated, it's 40 years old. So trying to update our standards to meet the newest guidelines. Like Kevin said, there's subject matter experts and lawyers on board with this staff of Lexipol, so they'll be writing the policies or assistance, updating our policies. And then part of that is the training corporation. They send out weekly quizzes to the firefighters, making sure the firefighters are reading those policies and taking a test on it. So not only updating it's the education portion to make sure we understand, the members are understanding what's on with those policies.
One of the great things that we're currently using Lexipol for in our police is we're going to the phase 2, where we will be challenging the New York State accreditation. So we are looking to move in for our police department to be accredited. That is through Lexipol. That's through the daily training that our officers take, but that they will be helping us with that monumental push for full accreditation. Public Works, we're going to be creating an equipment operator 1 position. We've had some shifting around from some of our upper management, so we want to backfill and have proper staffing. Don, you might be able to help me with this, but I was presented in 2013 with a org chart for the village that had 33 point some odd FTEs. I believe right now with this budget, we will be moving back, or we'll be moving back to that 33, but we're only at about 26, 27. So we are still sizable percentage away from where we started cutting in positions in 2013. New street sweeper, lease to own payment. As it was explained to me by Don, maybe throw something at me if I'm going to say something wrong. I love Donnie's explanation. He said a street sweeper is just a giant sandblaster, and we have blasted. Yes. Okay. All right. So here's the content specialist, not me.
Has he been sized for the street?
Matt, we're gonna have it custom made for him. So we'll take it a step further.
What's the new name?
We're not backing into this. What we've been assured is that it's a vac truck that has a sweeper on it. So why this is pulling to what we're looking at between anywhere from $300,000 to $320,000 is not trying to see what we can afford, but what we need to move to that point, more along the lines of being able to pull in storm drains, catch basins, and a bunch of other terms I'm not completely sure of. We'll be able to use the street sweeper to start doing that, as well as the street sweeping component of it. New 20-ton hauling trailer. I've been told that the village engineering crew in making our 18-ton trailer work has been creative at best. This is going to give them the correct stuff. And most importantly, the engineering study for the DPW facility. Anyone who's gone by our DPW facility has seen it. Well, if you've just gone by it in the last 50 years, you've seen it. That's where it stands. It's gotten a little decrepit over the years. Excuse me, not years, over the following decades. And with this engineering study was originally, they said they wanted a new roof. Trustee Kowalski suggested maybe instead of putting a new roof on a building we don't know the structure of, we should understand the structure.
Have you walked around to the back of the building,
Yes.
to the back wall? Is that even safe to be inside?
I believe that,
That's a
I put my daughter in it.
Yeah. That's a project.
Put your head down,
We
Lou.
look in the future to get to, and it's now.
Right, and that's where I think we're gonna have to, and that's, yes, we see foundation cracking, we see roof leakage. I mean, it's miserable, and that was just with the pictures. What I want to create a theme for the council for tonight is that this is a multi-year plan. You're seeing things that are clearly going to be evident of a step A, getting the information, knowing deficiencies, and then moving on to the next step from there, while we're trying to honor and upgrade some of our existing services that have been in decay since then. Next slide. Parks and Recreation, very excited about this, creation of a parks supervisor. Nate can do this much better than I can, but back to that transition of leadership in the DPW, we need, he and I are in the agreement that we need somebody who is going to be a year-round presence, making sure that our parks are better, more attractive, but also safer. Nate is also very excited about this person in the wintertime. We have a lot of plowing that happens in our parks. All we do is we take DPW staff off the road to do that. That's not helping our village residents. This person will. So this is getting more resources in there to something that's already been taken away. We'll get into water in detail here, but basically what we're looking at is a steep water reconstruction of our bills. Currently, what we're looking at is every resident, every account, not resident, will be paying a flat $14 a quarter. This is just a add-on to the bill. This $14 per quarter per account will bring in about $200,000. This $200,000 will be responsible for two main things. A, paying back the WIA grant. We took $5 million from WIA. They want $2 million back. So we're looking, our financial advisors are saying that's roughly about $100,000 a year. So that's half of the capital payback that we have with that. The other is we don't have any money in the water fund to make any repairs or sizable capital improvements to our system. This is going to be the beginning of starting using local tax dollars or local user dollars to start building back our infrastructure that's decayed over the decades. Non-departmental, spring lawn refuge pickup. We're going to look at expanding what we're picking up on the side. As we can see now, winter can be either 3 months out of the year or 10 months out of the year. Either way, we need to be more responsive with picking up leaves and branches and stuff like that. We're looking to do that. Our clock refabrication, it was my goal when I ran for mayor to at least have the clock across from Village Hall be right 4 times a day instead of twice. We will be doing that. We will have it now accurate. With a $10,000 investment, we're happy to say that we can hopefully get this done with this budget year, but get the clock back up and going. And we're also looking for a paperless board of trustees information system. We're just looking to move to a tablet system instead of just our paper-based system. So basically trying to go from where that's point A, point B is still very far out, but this is point A 1.2. Next slide. Village property taxes. Here's the fun part. The village evaluation decreased by $2 million this year. According to Chemung County real property tax, the average home is valued at $41,000. with our current tax rate of being $6.16 per thousand. After our first click. So we have a no tax increase. With a no tax increase, we would cut our budget by $18,000. This was not someplace we wanted to be. Nate presented us with the next window. We click. He proposed a 5% tax increase, bringing in $127,943, but it would pull approximately $76,000 from our reserve fund. Myself and the trustees made the difficult decision to say that we do not want to create a structural deficit by using reserve funds to support our operations. So the trustees and I have made the difficult decision. If we have the next click, we are proposing a 7.5% tax increase, moving our tax rate to $6.61 per thousand, bringing in $200,000 approximately of revenue, which will be to the average taxpayer $63.75 increase. This is not easy. We did not do this lightly. Thankfully, if you go to horseheads.org, we made all those debates in public session, so we can see how we got to this point. But most importantly, what we wanted to do was we stand by what these objectives we want to accomplish in this 24-25 year and not have to do it by pulling reserves, because we don't know what we will have to do with Thorn Street, with what we will have to do with the fire hall, what we will have to do with the DPW. Next slide. Our water rates. Last water rate increase incurred in 2017, before that 2014. We have not moved the ball. We've done these peaks and valleys, and it has not helped us by doing incremental increases. So back to this WIA grant. This is very important. Nearly 2 years. It was a 2-year project. WIA gave us $5 million in total, $3 million. We didn't have to pay back. $2 million we do have to pay back. This is how little $5 million got us. It got us 6,600 in linear feet and did 14.8% of our lines. This was critical. This was done in the number streets right off of Grand Central, some of the oldest parts. The all sides mains was only 3.2% and 4.8% of the 183,000 4-inch and 6-inch mains. We're proud to say that we've replaced 76 fire hydrants, 349 service lines. That's to the shutoff to the main, not after that wide joint. That is the resident's responsibility. And 69 new shutoff valves were in place. So what are we talking about here? We don't stop the fund with a 7.5% tax increase. We are looking at this budget to raise water rates by 30% for everyone who averages gallons between 0 to 40,000. Be a 25% tax increase for anyone doing 40,000 to 1 million per quarter. That's more of our, obviously, our commercial side. Our non-village residents will not be getting any additional incremental increase. They will have the same increase, just at the higher rate that they already were at. So and this here will, if we click the next slide, that's that $14 for the loan payback and capital improvement. And then next click. All this is just to raise $70,914 in revenue. This is what we need to start pulling back our mains. This is what we also need to start redoing our valves and just start moving in the correct direction. As you may or may not know, we have a Susquehanna River Basin Commission report that says by September 15th, 2027, if we don't move what was in last year, a 50.6% leakage rate, over 250 million gallons of water we have leaked. If we don't pull that back to at least under 20%, there will be fines and there will be stiff penalties that we cannot afford. Through our DPW and water operators' amazing work, this year we were able to pull it back to 35%. We're hoping that this will be the impetus to start moving forward and get that, as we have our time lapses closed, our time window is closing, to start getting to our 20% leakage rate. Next. We ask to join us, and that it reminds me, I want to thank all of the council people who did show up and did go to one of our budget meetings previously, but this next Thursday, we'll be doing our public hearing and hopefully our budget vote. If we need another week, we have it per New York State law, so we have April 25th ready to do in our budget vote. But as I invite all of you, please come to our regular board meetings now, the first and third Thursday of the month at 6 p.m. at Village Hall. That was me talking very quickly. I apologize. There again, we were having some technical issues, but any questions? Don,
You knew there'd be questions.
I hope there was gonna be questions.
On the tax increase, about $60-some, is that per 100,000 or per household average?
For $141,000.
Okay,
If your home's assessed.
If you're on home, so yeah, so 141,000 will be that $62 increase in
But
that.
you can take the $6.61, take your assessed value and divide it by 1,000 and you figure out.
yeah,
what you
just a little piece of history, like Kevin on this. Foolish history of horses, Zim wrote back in the 30s, the assessed valuation per 1,000 was the same. But it's the value of the properties and the expansion.
Actually, we want to thank the union. We actually have a, for a lack of a better term, nearly full-time seasonal person. Don't quote me on my civil service terms on that. The union made a very gracious concession allowing that person in it as a non-union person who is now in the cemetery, who's doing a phenomenal job there. So there again,
Full-time?
not full-time, but very close to it. He's capped. So, but
I'm not done.
that was it.
Another deep thing I saw, and it's advertising. Mike Mauer was in front of Pudgy's today, cleaning out a drywall, probably getting ready to put rings in and lift it up or something.
Yeah, we were sucking out
People
a
saw that,
catch base.
they appreciated it, and now they know that some of that work is getting done. When I was mayor manager for about 6 months, and we weren't there, Matt wasn't there. Yeah, I didn't steal him yet from Elmira. I had a hard time getting the drywall cleaned on Catalpa Drive. They had trees growing out of it. But
And that's what we're trying to
Right,
remedy with this budget too now.
people can see the production.
Yep.
And the product. You won't have any problem. And I do compliment you on the amount of research you've done, you and Nate, in digging in. I do know figures pretty quick. And where we were, where we're at now, where we need to be. And I'm pleased. Yes, I will pay a bit more. If you. And I am gonna retire. But I can't. I gotta get another job. So,
We're always hiring in the village now.
well, I thought about mowing lawns, but Sportsman Warehouse is calling.
Oh, okay, okay. I told him, I said, we're no longer gonna do more with less. We are at our maximum less and at our minimum more. So it's now more to more.
That
We
is a
have
question for you too.
Kevin, on your DPW at 22%, is that included the water
No,
people?
that 1.3 million. That 1.3 is just DPW. That does include like, snow plow and
Right, but I
everything.
mean, it doesn't include the deep or the water employees?
No, that is completely separate fund, and village garage. Just to give you an exact figure, Matt, snow removal,
They still split wages?
yes, we have, because water is water. We
Well, no,
do,
I mean, you still split,
I've never seen it.
because when I was there, some of the DPW guys were split with water also.
not anymore, so we have wholly licensed
Okay.
water
I
operators,
know
we are
that, but-
splitting admin and we don't have any of the staff in there doing that.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
So two things, Kevin. One, your slide presentation, can we get a hard copy of that for?
Yes.
minutes?
I will send the correct one that's not all entrapped in a MacBook.
And in your budget, obviously, you know, your police force is your largest one.
Yes,
Do people understand that you do have part-time police officers?
Yeah.
yes, I believe, yeah, and we're fully staffed now with
Right,
10.
but I know
But
you
yeah.
have a few that are retired police officers
Yep.
from another agent that work for you part-time, and their salary's capped
Yes,
because of their pensions. But I don't know if JQ Public knows a lot of that, you know, they just see them out on the street, and they think, well, there's another police officer at $80,000-$90,000, you know?
and that is, I think that is going to be the push is that we all know, I think, or maybe I'm biased, right? 15 years in municipal government, working with Chris Moss, I know I put a high value in accreditation. I know that is my task as mayor, is to inform the village residents on what, no one should be doing accreditation just so they get a little knock off their PERMA insurance. Don't do it.
No, they should know why you're doing it.
Right, and what it means and what it does.
Yeah.
And Chief Suey has been leading that charge. He will only be with us for another year or so. And he said this is what he wants to leave the village with, is a fully accredited police department. At a municipal level, that's a hell of an accomplishment in my opinion.
Anybody else got any questions for Kevin?
Yeah, but you and I gonna get a bottle of wine and talk someday.
Whether you can email it,
Good.
that presentation, I'd like to.
Absolutely. And it is on horsets.org, right on the front seat. Yep, I have, I have a slide right there.
Yeah, I looked at it.
The non-Google slide version of it is on there. So,
Lucky thing you
yeah.
changed the color from green.
Oh, yeah, it's neon green, neon, I don't know what that means. Any other questions? Now I'm gonna take my daughter and wish you all guys an adieu, and thank you so
for the
much.
Presentation, it was informative and we'll spread the word
Thank you.
that Kevin's, no.
Watch yourself then.
Have a great, anybody else like to address the board on anything that is not on the agenda? Seeing that, we'll move on, and I have a question. What's the public hearing at number 8? So I have an old agenda.
April 10th. You do.
It
No
is.
public hearing.
Okay, no public hearing. Cross it out. Yeah. Okay. Item 8 now is discussion of possible action regarding the request for a speed limit sign on Orchard Hill Road. We got a request from a gentleman up there, and I turned it over to Marty. They're requesting to lower the speed limit on Orchard Hill. There's people just flying down the hill, I guess.
That takes a state study.
Yeah, we know that. But I want these guys to say yes.
Well, you need a resolution to
Right,
authorize
the
the
state.
highway superintendent to make the application as the joint application with the county highway superintendent, and I don't know if he'll do it, but that's all right.
And it's the ones that are complaining, are the ones that live up there, and the ones that are speeding are the ones that live up there.
That's usually the way.
So I need a motion to adopt a resolution to proceed with the steps we need to request the line.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ripko.
Aye.
Mr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Ziegler.
Aye.
Mr. Nagel.
Aye.
Mr. Fisher.
Aye. Item 9 is a resolution with the contract for the town of Horse as a designated auditor for the financial statements for the year ending 2023 and for the Horseheads Court. Which I talked to Rick McNeil, we just need a resolution to get him for the last time.
So moved.
Okay.
Mr. Ripko.
Aye.
Mr. Lewis. Mr. Ziegler.
Aye.
Mr. Nagel.
Aye.
Mr. Fisher.
Aye. Item 11, it says update regarding decommissioning bond and host agreement for Randy Parker Solar Farm. We have not gotten anything back, so that is,
We'll check with code to see how far along they
they
are
are,
and make sure that we get the I know they contacted us and wanted a copy of what we've worked on before. And we have sent them that. So we'll see, and that should be coming back, and it would come back to this board.
so there's no actions to take tonight on that.
May I ask what that is? What is decommissioning bond and how?
The decommissioning bond is 25 or 40 years down the road when it's done. If they don't take care of it or renew it or do something with it, then we have some funds in order to remove it. We don't really care about this one, whether we'd have a decommissioning bond or not, because this one's gonna be on private property. The one over on Hickory Grove, we care because the people who operate the solar the solar farm own it. So if they walk away from it, we want to be able to get in there and remove it. But this one, Randy Parker owns it, or whoever he's going to sell it to, but we'll still look at that. The host benefit agreement is they pay a tax. The tax usually comes through a pilot program. The town's entitled to about 7% of that tax at that point in time. The town is the host of the solar farm in the town. And therefore, host benefit agreements became in vogue when the solar farm started. So therefore, we sort of get some money from them. The ones over here, we got 2,500 per megawatt per year. So what it is that those were 2 5-megawatt projects. So if they put out 5 megawatt a year, we get 2,500 per megawatt. Most of the time, they don't put out 5 megawatt, it's 3 point something, 4 point something, so we get that portion of it. The issue that's arisen with this is that the county IDA has jumped on this bandwagon at this point in time and I believe they want a host benefit agreement from these people who come to them for the pilot agreement, and they want 8,000 per megawatt at this point in time. And frankly, they're not doing anything. It's in the town, the burden's on the town, their burden's not on the county at all. So that's gonna be a battle down the road for somebody at some point in time. But that has interfered with the towns maybe being able to increase the host benefit agreement to them. Of course, the pilot agreements, it's broken down to probably 60 to 70% goes to the school, 30-some% to whatever. And like I said, the town gets 7% out of the pilot. So depending on what the pilot is, you deal with that. The only one who does get paid out of these things, not out of the pilot, there is no pilot for it, is, again, we show on the tax roll, town and country fire, we shouldn't be showing that. But it's the fire protection district that they're in, gets fully paid based upon the assessed value. The assessed value over here for one of those projects is about 550,000. So they're not huge assessed values.
John, is this gonna be as big as the one over in Hickory Grove?
I think it's a 5 megawatt project over here. I don't think I don't think it's bigger. So it'll be as big as one of those, I believe, if I remember correctly, but don't hold me to it because I'm an idiot and I'm old.
But
Did that answer your question? Pat?
Yeah.
Okay.
they do have the capability of producing the 5.
Yeah, when they install it, it has the,
The 5.
Yeah. yeah.
So that will just be,
So
until
we
we
will
find
check.
out the information,
Yeah,
we'll just hold it.
we'll bring it back.
Thank you very much.
Item 11 is discussion possible action regarding the 2024 JCAP grant program authorizing the clerk to apply. Again, what you see in here right now, a lot of it came from that grant. The chairs, and he wants more chairs and we're looking at handicap accessible doors out front for the courts to get into, and the possibility of closing that window off because we don't use it. And maybe putting a doorway in there to start out with. But we need to have a resolution that goes along with the grant application authorizing her to apply for the grant.
The max grant is, it's a grant that's annual
Yes,
and it's $30,000, so we get up to $30,000. And we keep the court.
the court gets it. So I need a motion to allow them to apply for the court grant. JAG grant.
Second.
Mr. Ripko.
Aye.
Mr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Ziegler.
Aye.
Mr. Nagel.
Aye.
Mr. Fisher.
Aye. Item 12, go ahead.
Excuse me, is this time for any discussion on the use of this grant?
You have no say.
We have no say in it.
You have no say, no.
We've talked, the say you have is, maybe if you have an idea, let Sam know. Because it's gotta deal with this, certain things. But that's why we talked about the handicap doors out front, because they're used for courts. And they can't get in sometimes. So that's why we're
aware of that,
for that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
talk to Sam,
Talk to
she'll
Sam.
make sure, if it's not on the list for this year, it'll maybe be on the list for next year.
Item 12 is a conference attendance. Conference request from the town clerk Kathy Wood and deputy town clerk Amanda Hillman for the annual New York State Association of Tax Receivers and Collectors, June 9th through the 12th at Lake George. And that's in the budget.
Second.
Mr. Ripko. Mr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Ziegler.
Aye.
Mr. Nagel.
Aye.
Mr. Fisher.
Aye. That concludes our agenda, so I'll go around the table. Carl, you got anything?
Parks, everything going.
So far, except the weather.
Yeah.
We opened April 1st. I think we've been closed more we've been open.
Asking about the park.
Gotcha. Okay.
Gary, you got anything? Don Ziegler, you got anything you wanna?
Just one little clarification, it doesn't involve this board. But on Facebook, the illustrious Facebook that everybody lives by, I was supposedly voted that I was the ringleader of closing the dog shelter.
Yeah, you are.
You did, yeah.
I have the young lady's name,
We've all blamed you.
and it's funny, I watched her grow up, I knew her.
That's the only
I
name
didn't
you
even
knew
know it was closing.
Yeah, we got it.
Private entity.
We got I was surprised when I got the certified letter or registered letter stating that they were ceasing operations on July.
Yeah. It's a decision they made.
They made it.
Understanding it, I understand what they're going through. But there's Facebook, I will handle it, nothing this board has to. It's not what's great the forest fire.
Tom, you got anything?
That's it.
Well, to continue on what Don was talking about with the closing of the animal shelter. There is a statement here. Move out inspection, landlord and tenant agree to inspect the premises together on the final day of occupancy. Or on any other date that's convenient to both parties.
Yep.
Over the past 11 or 12 years. I've probably got as much, well, probably more time than anybody sitting up here right now. And I would be part of that inspection if you would want me to.
We will let you know. I have to call Diane Crooker back tomorrow. They want to set up a meeting next week sometime for those people to come in and so they know exactly what they got to do to vacate.
I just thought it would be more convenient if I offered or.
You can adopt every unadopted pet dog in the animal shelter on the left.
I open the gates,
Or
let them
can.
go.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll let you know. Anything else, Don?
I'm good.
The only thing I want to let you guys know at the board is on April 24th from 6 to 8 p.m. We're gonna have another town hall meeting here. And the Office of the Aging is coming to do a presentation. So if you have elderly people that need to know information or anything, it's open to anybody. It's not just Horseheads residents. Anybody that wants to come attend it, they're coming to explain different situations and what they have to offer and what they do. And I'll put a plug in because the next night at the Elks, Schmuck Canal is doing one on living wills and stuff like that. But we'll plug that night too. So I want to try to have more open town hall meetings for information for all the residents. Because it's always, and Ryan and Mike, and you can tell the Heights too. We know we have issues through the fire service at times where we can't get help. So if you want to send somebody, they're gonna explain some of that stuff too.
I believe, the two ladies led by that's strange, they did the presentation at Fire Advisory Board 2 months ago as well.
Did they? Yeah, oh, that's right. That told me when I asked her to come. So there'll be an information, let your people know, especially your senior citizens, and that's all I have to let you know. Oh, and I think I put it in your box, but if I did not, there's an open house at Bethany Thursday the 18th from 3 to 5 p.m. And for their new additions or whatever. So that's all I have. So at this time, nothing else. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
No more.
Second.
Mr. Ripko.
Aye.
Mr. Lewis. Mr. Ziegler.
Aye.
Mr. Nagle.
Aye.
Mr. Fisher.
Hi, thank you all.
Gordy.
Yeah.